situation of COVID-19 takes me back to the movie which could magically foresee the future. The movie Contagion. Let's start. A person sneaks to cut trees in the forest. When a tree collapses, the bats are sleeping in a startled flight. They fly to find a new place to sleep over. After eating some wild fruits, they fly ahead to a pig farm nearby. When sleeping over there, they poop in the pig pen. A pig eats its feces. Unexpectedly, its feces contains pathogen. Naturally by humans like that. Then, she takes the flight to the US. On the flight, she has the sign of cough, but she just thinks it's a cold and she doesn't pay much attention. She approaches many passengers and flight attendants on that flight. Arriving at home, she hugs her baby, but she doesn't know the severe scenario her action leads to. The next morning, her husband picks her son up at the school. The boy also has the sign of dry cough. The medical staff at his school just gives him normal cold medicine. Arriving at home, Beth Emhoff is preparing the lunch when she suddenly faints. Her husband immediately brings her to the hospital. Just in a few hours, his wife passed away. He is so painful. The doctor rushes to ask him, when she was alive, where did she go and who did she approach? He keeps thinking but can't figure out what happened. Another tragedy comes up. Her son gets the same disease with his wife. When he gets home, the boy's body becomes hard and he hasn't breathed. The iron stick Beth Emhoff touched before dying is held by another one. Everyone starts showing the sign of cough and fever. Somebody hadn't known why they died till the last moment of their life. Somebody knows that they are not fine but still go around. There are more and more people dying. Up to now, everyone just pays attention to this infectious disease. Leonora is a WTO epidemiologist. She participates in the investigation about this new disease. After many operations, they finally figure out that it's a new encephalitis virus. The doctors carry out the urgent quarantine for Mitch. Experts of WTO recognize that this virus can be spread via indirect approach. It means that towards things victims used to touch, anyone touching them will get the virus immediately. To quickly clarify the virus's origin, they start investigating the places Beth used to go before dying as well as things she used to touch. However, there is nothing found. Meanwhile, the pandemic is spreading rapidly. Just after 3 days, thousands of people have got the virus. This pandemic has spread all over the world. The no specific cure for this disease. The victims just can't wait for death without doing nothing. A professor known as an industry legend isolates himself, then begins cultivating the pathogen and tries all kinds of drugs that are resistant to it. The 12th day of the pandemic, he eventually finds medicine which can work. Meanwhile, the doctor also discovers that Mitch's body has the antibodies to this virus. Who approached Beth all died, except for him. Though, those who don't have that kind of antibodies just can't rely on vaccines. To produce vaccines, they need to go through steps such as testing on animals and humans. The quickest time is 2 to 3 months. The situation is not quite positive. After the outbreak, Mitch takes his daughter to the supermarket for shopping, but there is nothing to buy in the supermarket. The whole city is empty. Everyone is staying in their house and no one dares to go out. The whole city is empty. Everyone is staying in their house and no one dares to go out. Everyone all collaborates with the governments, trying not to make the current situation more chaotic. However, the rate of infection and death in the world has increased continuously. Bags to contain corpses are even over. The corpses have to be buried underground. Meanwhile, Leonora from WTO notices a good news. After testing on a monkey, that monkey's body produced an antibody to oppose the virus. But it's just the first step. The second step is testing on humans. Leonora gets the quick rate of the virus's infection. Every second they slow down their investigation, there are thousands more people dying. She decides to inject the virus into her body, then inject the vaccine. Fortunately, she succeeded. Now, they can produce vaccines for that virus. The government requests medical providers continue working, increasing their working speed. Vaccines is limited. Even some companies increased the vaccine's pricing. Eventually, those actions are investigated by the government. This black policeman not only works carefully, but also gives the son of his colleague the last vaccine in his hand. That braveness makes others so respect. Not at the end of the movie, humans won this virus. Virus disappeared forever. It's in the movie, but in reality, when COVID-19 stops is still a question. Hope you guys and your families stay safe and healthy.